Hey, it's Ann. So a couple people were watching my video that I made yesterday, the time lapse, and some people wanted to see me work more slowly. Other people wanted to see the wax mediums that I'm using, so I thought I would show you. So most of the time I use this one, the Gamblin, and that is, I put it into a smaller can for use, but I don't know if you can see in there really well or not, but it's kind of the consistency of Crisco, and it works really well. The painting gets pretty dry already overnight, like, see? So it's pretty easy to work on it again. And sometimes, though, I'm more in the mood for like a more liquidy cold wax, and then the Dorlands is really good. And again, I also have a smaller container of that. But I think that for the most part, I really prefer the Gamblin. Basically, when I start, I put a big chunk of the cold wax onto my palette and mix it up with different colors that I think that I'm going to use. This is the painting that I was working on yesterday, and as I'm looking at it, I think it's really close to being done. So one of the things that I do that's really funny is I kind of like wear a trough into my floor by backing up to kind of keep getting a fresh view of what I'm working on. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to look at it and tell you what I'm thinking. So I think that I still need to break up this area a bit more. And yesterday I was thinking that maybe I would extend some of this horizontal line, but today I'm thinking that maybe I need a dark shape that's vertical. So I think for what I'm doing that this size is kind of where I'm thinking. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute while I'm thinking exactly where I want to put down this black, and I'm just going to like use it like this. Sometimes I'll come over here to get more, but as long as it's on here, I'm going to use it. So let's see. Yeah, I think kind of right here is going to be the sweet spot. And if I don't like it, I'll just take it back off. Yeah, I think that's good. And then I think what I want to also do is just to have a little bit more visual interest is just add a smaller spot right there. And one of the things I really love, I don't know if you can see it from back there, but I'll like zoom you in later, is the texture from the previous layers are showing through, and that is super cool. So I love that. I think I want to clean up that edge just a tiny bit, so I'll get my little scratchy tool. I really like to find a balance between kind of like spontaneous and careful. So you'll notice that like some of my lines are really fast and other ones are more carefully thought out. So as I'm coming into the finish line of this painting, it's much more about the carefully thought out, so you're not going to see me as much work in that speedy way. There's a lot more think time and standing back and looking at it time. And even like looking at it in the camera right now, it's backwards to me. It's mirror imaged. And so that's even a useful tool. Like I can see like the rhythms and how they're working there. And so that's pretty cool. Yes, I might add also just a little bit more richness right here. It feels a little bit too even Steven, and I think it'll be more interesting if there's a little bit of variety. Yeah, that's good. It's really weird to paint and talk at the same time, but I'm going to try to get used to this. Because I think we can all learn so much from each other if we share these kinds of things on social media. Right? So, I'm just looking for where I feel like places need to be broken up or have a little bit more depth and richness to them. Right here, there's like a really nice spot where I scraped through yesterday, but I don't like this edge of how it ended. So I'm going to see what happens if I just scratch out a little bit of a line to define it a bit more. Yeah. And then here's another spot where I'm thinking like this edge looks a little bit messy. It could use a little bit of neatening. So it's a choice of adding more scraping. In this case, I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit more to that edge and see if I can get it to be the shape I like. It's really subtle, so I don't know if you can see it from here, but at least you can hear what I'm thinking about. Let me just do a couple more tiny adjustments. Like in here, I want to take off a little bit of this orange, get it back down to the gray. But I'm trying not to disturb the cool scratch lines because I really love those, so it's more just sort of a polishing of the surface. So you can see also that since I just worked on this yesterday, it is soft enough for me to kind of still scratch into it. Another day or two and I wouldn't really be able to go back down unless I was working on wood. And on like smaller pieces, I almost always work on wood, but on this size canvas, it just gets too heavy. So I work on canvas. Don't like this spot right here. It's a little messy too. So in the beginning of a painting, I'm thinking about energy. And at the end of a painting, I'm thinking about neatening up areas. I always work from a place of discontent. So things that bother me is where I work. If I like something, I try not to touch it. So now I'm going to look at this side of the painting over here and see if there's some areas that could use some neatening up over here or some interest scratched in. And sometimes I don't know what's going to happen, which is also really cool because I forget what color's underneath, and when I scratch, it's like a surprise to find the color that comes through. I kind of think that the right thing to do now is like set this one aside because it's nothing screaming right out to me, and so I'm going to start another one.